So people want new builds, and today I've got a build that cuts the cookie pretty damn hard, you know, almost cut the whole damn thing off. But today is a 470 USD build and also 680 Australian dollars if you're down under. So let's take a look at this thing, build it, benchmark it, and see how it performs. Welcome back to Tech City. This is Brian coming to you guys today with a build that is honestly a really solid 1080p gaming rig. It utilizes the newest G4560 from Intel. This is a dual core with 4 threads and it's really damn cheap. We're talking like $60 if you're in the States and like 78 Australian dollars in Oz. It is that damn cheap and it offers extremely good value for money in the used parts section. Now for the motherboard, we're going with a B150 here from MSI. This is the Pro VD. It's pretty cheap, although one thing to keep in mind, if this is your first PC and you don't have a friend with an i3-6100 or a Skylake CPU, then you may want to go with a B250 motherboard as they won't need to update the BIOS. But if you're going with a H110 or a B150 for this build, then you may need to update the BIOS to get the G4560 working. So looking at some other parts in this build, we have the RX 470, which is easily the king for price performance with the new graphics cards, especially if you can pick these cards up for around about $150 like the Asus featured on Amazon. So you can actually save a few dollars to the actual build I'm doing here. Though the RX 470 definitely dominates frame rates when it comes to 1080p gaming. Then for the other specs, we have an entry-level case here from Deepcool, which comes in very cheap, but is still a great case to work with. Then there's the 1TB Western Digital Blue, which is a staple for budget builds, and an entry-level 500-watt power supply. Though on this note, if you are in the US, then go for the EVGA 500-watt, and if you're in Australia, then definitely check out the Antec VP500, both of which offer really good value for money on the budget end. And then lastly, for memory, I have a Crucial 8GB 2x4 kit here, which is the cheapest I could find in both Oz and the US. Though let's put this thing together and then benchmark it for you guys. So there it is, guys, a great PC that can run a lot of titles at 1080p high settings, no problems whatsoever. Even a real recent title like Dishonored 2 had no problems running high settings with good FPS on this rig. I was surprised, however, with the RX 470 I had here. This thing could only go to a mere 1300 MHz, which wasn't good at all, to be honest, but usually you should be able to overclock these RX 470s to higher speeds and hence get better FPS. As for the 4GB on this card, it is perfectly fine for 1080 gaming, in my opinion, and will be for some years to come. Also, everything in this build is really solid, not just in terms of price performance, but also in terms of the product itself. So for 2017, there is also still Zen to come, and when it hits the shelves, it should hopefully be at least similar in terms of value for money, though with the Pentium G4560, it is a really damn good value for money CPU on a budget, and honestly, it won't get a whole lot better than this, or the RX 470 in terms of price for performance for new parts. And of course, there is used parts, but a lot of the time, used parts are one-off deals. This build, however, is readily available, and if you are looking to build a new PC and want to have everything hassle-free, then this will certainly be an epic build for you guys. As for prices, the parts here are relatively close to retail too, so if there are some sales on for things like RAM, motherboards, cases, and power supplies, then you may be able to get this build a little cheaper, but in terms of choice of parts and new builds, I think it won't get much better than this one for price performance in a new build, and of course having a solid PC that won't break on you in 2017. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this build, and let me know in the comment section below if you liked this build. Also, let me know if there was any changes you would make to this build personally. Would love to read your comments as always, and also the links for all the parts will be in the description below, so be sure to check that out, and I'll catch you guys in another tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Bye. Build will be in the description below. So welcome back to Brian. Welcome back to Brian. This is Tech City. So here it is, a great PC that can run all the latest 1080p titles at no problems. Latest 1080p at no problems FPS.